Now, as we prepare, there's a certain behaviors and actions that we need to have as a mentor. It's about willingness and readiness to be present, attend for the mentee, to be present 100% for them. Well, being present means giving our full, undivided attention to them as we speak. And we have this SOLVER acronym here. This is a simple tool to help us practice this. It reminds us to physically, but also verbally show that you are engaged. Because maybe we are engaged in our hearts, but the question is, can they feel that? Can they experience our presence with them? It starts from facing them squarely to making relaxed eye contact. And these small actions communicate that you are fully, truly listening and that their stories matter, their lives matter. Let's start with S. S. So this is the first action or behavior I want to show them is squarely face the person. By squarely facing the person, we show that we are giving them our full, undivided attention. By turning our body directly towards them as they speak, and we speak to them, we turn our body directly, we are signaling that this person is our sole focus in that moment. Okay, I intentionally turn my body towards that person. Oh, open posture. Imagine if I speak, hey, it's good to see you. I want to listen to your story more. How do you feel about that? Yeah, sounds like a good idea. Yeah, tell me more about it. So let's not do that because it signals on the contrary, avoid crossing your arms or legs, but an open posture, like keeping your arms and your sides or resting them on your lap, it conveys a sense of openness, receptiveness, and non-defensiveness. It's not like I have all the stories, I have all the theories, now you listen to me. But on the other hand, we want to encourage them to feel comfortable because we want to hear their story. Yes, they will ask us questions, but we will not answer them directly because we need the full context, the background of their question. So do not be tempted to answer the question directly. Yes, they will come with questions, but in order to troubleshoot the thing that they really want to know, remember not to answer the questions, but to have a follow-up questions. You may ask something like, would you tell me the story behind your question? Do you mind sharing me how you feel when you are faced with this situation? How long has been happening? How do you mentally prepare for certain kind in your life? So you don't want to answer the question directly. We want to listen to their story. L, leaning forward. Just a slight lean in shows that we are interested in what they're saying, basically. This is a small physical gesture, but it demonstrates that we are actively engaged. Look them in the eye, it will be eye contact, but leaning forward it already signals that we want to know more about them and we want to try to hear every word. V is verbal qualities. Well, this refers to my tone, pace, and volume of your voice. A good mentor, like you all, will use a calm and steady tone and pace. We want them to feel comfortable, safe, taken care. You know, I've been visiting these parents for quite some time, and some of them are in a very bad stage in life, in the brink of divorce. They have been seeing counselors, go to psychologists, psychiatrists. Some of them go to the court for their divorce and fighting for the right to have the children with them. Some of them are dealing with abusive families. Some of them having a difficult teenagers at home, some of them dealing with unfaithfulness. There'll be nasty things that you will listen if only they are open enough to share you about their darkest secrets. So therefore, verbal qualities provide them with a space of comfort, knowing that you are the person that they can feel comfortable to share their burden, okay, without feeling brushed or judged or rejected. Because for them, opening up to a fellow Christians that go to the same church could be intimidating because they don't want anyone to know about their struggles, maybe. It is something so private. But, sometimes just by listening to their stories or they lift it up, 50% of the burden. Now, E stands for eye contact. We make a natural, relaxed eye contact. It communicates sincerity and attentiveness again. It shows that we are focused when we are listening to this person. We listen to them. We are not distracted by the surroundings, not by our phones. And the key is to make it natural. When they speak, give them 100% eye contact. And when we speak, give them 70% of eye contact. And 30% you can look elsewhere, look into the trees or grass and looking back to their eyes again. Because when you speak and you give them 100% eye contact, it could be a bit tense, So sometimes we speak 70% to the eyes, but then you look around as you speak, you go back to the eyes again intentionally, not to stare and avoid to making them feel uncomfortable. Now R lastly is actually about relax. This is about you yourself, us being comfortable, at ease with ourselves. When we are relaxed, somehow, unconsciously, we create a relaxed and calming atmosphere for the mentee. Our body languages, our hands, our shoulder becomes more natural, and our listening is more genuine. Our response is more natural, genuine, funny, cheeky. Now, by using this solver method that I just shared here, we can physically and verbally demonstrate that they matter, their stories matter, and we are fully attending to the person that we are walking with during the walk and talk, which is the foundation of trust. And this lies the foundation for effective mentorship relationship. So we want them to tell us their stories. Ask good questions. Ask deep questions. Don't hesitate to ask personal questions. Why? Because they have problems to be solved. And in order to share our stories or our experience, we need, once again, to get the full picture of what they're trying to know. Because sometimes people are not good enough in telling you what they need to know, what they feel. So that we need to do a little digging here. Digging, asking, confirming, clarifying more and more. So you are free to ask personal and deeper questions if they feel comfortable. So engage. When they started sharing their stories, listen carefully. Because we don't want to draw a wrong conclusion from their stories. Listen carefully, cognitively. This is not just about hearing words, but careful listening means paying attention. Where is the pain point? Try to read, try to understand their emotions. They give you data, but we need to read their emotions, the deeper feelings that they have that are going on in their hearts right now. And there are things behind what they're saying. We want to get that. So ask many questions, clarify, ask again, confirm with them, and show that you're genuinely interested in their feelings, not only their thoughts. And that will build a strong connection because you are there to help them solve their problems. So the first thing is to dig carefully what the main underlying problem is. When they start speaking, listen between the lines. Understand how they feel about certain things. They will try to cover it up. try to act strong and as if it's just a small and unimportant matter, but you know that's not true. Now, this genuine interest in understanding mentees' feelings, this will be a strong skills and a tools for communication. And we enhance that with the solver method here. So you understand them correctly and you show them that you truly heard what they say. So basically, this is what we need to have essentially: attending, be there, conclude, the skill of concluding or understanding the main issue, the underlying issues, but also paraphrasing and summarizing in order to show that you really understand and clarifying whether or not a matter is really their main concern. Paraphrase. So I hear from your voice, you're deeply disappointed by your father. And now, again, you are disappointed by the only man, the closest one next to you, which is your husband. And the disappointment gets higher and higher as the hurt that you receive reminds you of your old man. So, and you think right now, disappointment of men will always be the problem of your life. Am I saying it right? You want to paraphrase, you want to summarize, and you want to ask them whether or not your paraphrase and your summary is correct. Now, again, being present, focus, you develop a relationship with them. Okay, now the mentoring process. Basically, it involves, again, developing a relationship. We want them to feel valued and heard. So we develop a natural relationship within that 35 minutes window. And this relationship is specific and purposeful. So it's a focused, intentional relationship that we have at that window, short window of time. The goal is to address the issues that they're facing right now. So, well, actually, a strong mentorship is not just a one-time conversation, but now we only have that opportunity. It's a relationship that builds over time. Now, imagine how to have an instant connection with the person that maybe you will only meet once. So we want to give them the best experience that we care for them. To help us with that, when I meet a new person, I have this mental imagination in my mind that this person is my old best friend. It's my best friend since my childhood. When I imagine that in my head, my energy focuses, it changes my smile, my pupil dilated. There's an energy surging in my body, like I'm so excited to meet this person because I imagine that this is my friends from the past. Well, that kind of imagination helps us to build an instant connection. Well, yeah, the real mentorship takes time. It goes slowly. And we want to do that in 3 stages. The first stages is the beginning. We build the relationship, but then we rush to the next stage, which is the middle, exploration and understanding, and end, problem solving. Let's do this quickly. So, beginning, building the relationship. So where our walk and talk session starts, there's a dad's captain and mom's captain that will help us pair us up with the moms and the dad's younger parents there. The focus is to creating a safe and comfortable space for them. And you will be using the solver attending skills, listening, and ask as many questions. So the first half is the time for us to just listen carefully and be attentive to what they're saying. Now, in the middle stage of our mentorship is exploration. So, sometimes they already have all the answer. They just need someone to confirm, someone to give them a pat on the back and say, you're doing great. Yeah, keep doing it. You're in the right track. They just need that confirmation and encouragement. So we want to explore with them. Once trust is established, the mentor and mentee could develop a deeper talk, deep down into the issues. So it's okay to pinpoint the pain point deeper, dig deeper, ask questions, clarify. Well, this stage involves exploring their feelings. And that could be difficult for them, going back down to the memory lane with all those bad experiences or maybe abuses they may have in the past. But our role is actually to help them gain a better understanding, reframing what they've been experiencing from the past or at this current moment. Help them to reframe without, hear me out, jumping to solutions. We want to be careful not to jump into conclusions or giving them advices at this stage yet. So we want to explore, ask, explore, summarize and paraphrase, summarize and paraphrase. Do not jump into solutions or conclusions at all. We'll keep that to the very last of the sessions. So again, beginning is build the relationships. Middle is to explore, exploration in order to get the understanding. Lastly, we talk about, where were we? Okay. Yep, there we go. Stay curious. Don't assume that we already know things. Give mentees the chance to ask questions, set goals and focus. And lastly, problem solving. So, so here we want to understand how the mentee is trying to solve their problems. They need a way out. They need advice here. But before we offer them with our suggestions or answers, we need to ask what are the things, steps, solutions that they have tried in the past. They've already tried. Ask them before we give, hey, you should do this, or you should stop that. We can ask them, what have you done addressing your issue so far? Well, this shows your respect, that they're not little children. They've tried anything. Maybe they've tried everything. It's just they can just get away from their feelings or that situation. And it helps you avoid suggesting something that didn't work. So ask them, okay, so what have you done so far? And then begin the interventions by sharing your stories. So this is what this is what I say. Failure story is better than success story. So rather than just say, hey, you know what? You can do this. Hey, why don't you do that? But you can start with a story to make it more powerful. You know, in my experience, like you said, and you share your story, how you get through your toughest and darkest situations. Well, yes, it might be triggering for you as well to share your life. But when you feel comfortable and when you feel that this will be beneficial for the person, you are free to share that. But if you want to keep that confidential, you can ask them to keep that for themselves or them and the couple alone. So here, the intervention begins by you sharing them. Maybe your own failure, maybe the thing that you learned from the past. And I believe that our failure and the things that we learn painfully from the past is oftentimes more powerful than our success story. Because sometimes success is not repeatable, but failure is. We fail again and again. So when we share our failure stories, it makes us more relatable to the situation and it provides a more realistic, it's less intimidating, and it gives them a model for them to follow. Now, you can also share, and this is the last part, right? The last, how to anticipate and to prevent reoccurrence of the issue. What do you think works for you when things happen again in the near future? What do you usually do to help you cope with that? You can share your things, you can give them advice, the practical ones. For example, every time you think about that ugly situation, you want to imagine a sign, a road sign, a no sign. So in your mental image, when that thought's come into your mind and you can't stop it and you start thinking about it and all the details from it, quickly think about a road sign. Imagine a road sign in front of you, a stop sign, a big N and O word in front of you. You want to stop thinking about it and divert, think about something else. Well, or any other steps that may work from you from the past. Or you have to start seeking friends. Hey, you have to make new connections in life. Hey, you need new communities. So give them practical steps. So in the part of intervention, you want to share your failure story, if that is comfortable for you, or any other story you have, but also end with practical steps. Lastly, these are some pitfalls that we want to avoid. Number one, avoid being too eager. Yep, it's natural that we want to help, but an overly eager mentor can unintentionally take over the mentee's journey. They speak one sentence and we speak five. Remember, the point reminds mentors to pause and ask, wait, am I pushing my solutions too soon? Is this the right time for me to share my story? Because I really want them to hear my story. Calm down. Not being too eager will be more helpful to the mentee's growth and their journey. Okay? Because it is not our job to fix their life. Secondly, it's not understanding the needs. Because maybe we fail in reading between the lines. Remember, their journey is unique. Their upbringing is unique. Their background is unique. So if we rush to ask them to apply the things, the one-size-fits-all solution that we think will work, could be counterproductive. Okay? Because we need to give them empathy and patience, because different people have different pace, different mindset. So we must meet the mentee in the middle. We are here, they are here. We want to meet them where they are. We want to take them where we are, hopefully, but actually we're meeting in the middle, the ground floor here. And we need to respect their pace, or maybe their cognitive ability, perhaps, for some situations, or their current capacity in handling challenges. Thirdly, the third mistake to avoid is overly reassuring. This is called a toxic positivity, offer promising. It provides them with premature affirmations or false hope. Well, it is important to build them up, to encourage them, to be supportive. But saying things like, everything will be all right. That's okay. It will be fine. That's all right. That could sound dismissive and unhelpful. Because some of them, they don't need some affective touch, but also they need cognitive approach and practical tips. Therefore, premature affirmations and overly promising something might not be helpful for them. And this also can invalidate the mentee's struggle and how they process towards it. So the more positive statement will be, that sounds really difficult. Like aha, and works better. Ah, oh, aha, oh. You know what I'm doing? It helps them. Okay. Another mistake, triangulation, defending or speaking on their behalf. Maybe some of us are so smart that we can jump into conclusions. But when we get directly involved in their conflict, maybe by confronting another person on their behalf, well, this is things that we need to avoid. Because our role is to empower them. We are not the busybody, a big brother that jumps into the situation and hit the guy. No, we want to empower them to be able to hit their guys, their enemies there. We want them to be able to address their issues. We are not there to fight their battles for them, no. So we want them to develop their ability in problem-solving skills. And lastly, also, we need to be careful when we confront them. Well, yes, confronting is necessary, but I guess a 35 minutes walk and talk won't be enough for us to judge the real situation there. So this is just my hunch. This is not the time for us to tell someone that, hey, you are wrong. Maybe they are, but maybe 35 minutes is just not enough for them to give us the complete context of what they are facing right now, or what they've been experiencing from many years ago. So I think a judgmental attitude can quickly shut down communication. It will be unhelpful, and it can break trust as well. So I think it will be good for us to avoid confronting with aggressive or critical tone, but instead we use curiosity, we use questions. I'd like to know more about how you think about stuff. Some non-judgmental questions to help them reflect. So again, the key here is asking a $1 million question. So for example, instead of saying, hey, you should have done that, we could ask, what were you hoping would happen when you made that choice? What were you hoping would happen, would change when you decide to do that? See? So it triggers them to think, and it gives us more richer information of what lies ahead. What's the underlying problem there? All right. So I believe that by understanding and avoiding the common mistakes, we can ensure them to provide the most effective and supporting guidance possible that we can give them. And I believe ultimately empowering the younger parents to find their own path forward and developing them, encourage them to be able to fight their battles will be very helpful for them to see the grace of Jesus in your life that they will experience as well. And lastly, pray for them. Ask the Holy Spirit to give the right word in your mouth as you pray for them personally. I'm going to read you these short articles from Roll L. Howe, Active Listening. Listening is an act of love. Listening is an act of caring, a commitment of ourselves to another. We should listen with every sense, that is sensitively, if we are responsibly and reverently to participate in the mystery of another human being. Listening is not a one-side activity, but the other persons call us in all kinds of ways to be part of his journey. He and she want to be heard because, listen to this, to be heard is to be known, and to be known is to live. Listening should always be two-sided. The speaker respects the listener by trying to speak his meanings clearly and honestly. And the listener, on the other hand, respects the speaker by giving his whole attention to what the speaker is trying to say. In our very listening, we have the power to increase or diminish the lives and meanings. I repeat, in our very listening, we have the listening is more powerful than speaking to increase or diminish the lives and meanings of the people associated with us.